Hi everybody. So this week we are continuing with sociolinguistics, looking at some specific speech communities and dialects for this week. So let's go ahead and take a look at the assignments. The first one is about AAVE. Sometimes it's called AAVE, AAEV, even Black English, African American English. Has many different names, but it stands for the same thing. So what this first assignment is just looking at the features, and I just want you to describe the features. So I've got a couple of articles here for you to read, and we are focusing on African American English because it is really unique amongst dialects of English. It is very closely tied to one certain ethnicity. That doesn't mean that if you are that ethnicity, you automatically speak African American English, or if you speak African American English, you automatically are a member of that ethnic group. That's not what it means. But it's very closely related. And it is more closely related to this particular ethnic group, African Americans, than it is to a region. So certainly there are differences between African American English in California versus Texas versus Georgia versus New York. Those all have differences, but they have a lot more commonalities than other types of English dialects in those different areas of the country. So it does have that uniqueness about it. So what I really want you to get out of this assignment here is to realize that the differences between African American English and standard English are not mistakes. Okay, so people who are speaking this dialect, they're not speaking poorly, they're not making errors when they speak. They are following very specific rules that are documented, and they just are different from standard English. So that's the first thing, is to look at some of the rules, and I want you to list one phonological characteristic of African American English that is different from standard English, and then one morphological variation, and then one syntactic variation. Okay, so looking at the different levels of language. And you just are going to describe with this assignment. The next one is a little history lesson. So in 1996, the Oakland School Board made some moves, and I want you to watch the videos, read the articles about it, and then just give me a summary, and then tell me what you think about it, okay? So that is for that assignment. And then the last assignment this week is a completely different topic. This has to do with language and gender in the classroom. And so I've got a video here. This is Dr. Deborah Tannen. She is a very famous linguist who studies language and gender. Her work is decades old, so you're going to see that the video is pretty dated. And, you know, possibly some of her conclusions don't quite hold up today, but I think when you hear what she has to say, I think you're going to recognize that a lot of them do. Okay, and then we've got an article here for you to read about gender bias that happens in the classroom. And then for your original post, you're going to answer these questions and then make 2 replies, okay? Specifically commenting on the strategies that they picked out. And then that takes us to the end of the week. So let me know if you have any questions, anything comes up for you. I'll be around, and I can't wait to see what you say in the discussion. All right, I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.